a subject I'm super passionate about, and I think it's important that we highlight diversity of all kinds. I will say my intersection, obviously, as a woman in technology, I'm passionate about that. And look, I've spent my entire career having people show up to a meeting and say, well, we have to wait for the IT guy. I actually have a speech called, but I am the IT guy. I have the t-shirt that says I am the IT guy. So I definitely know what it's like to be looked at not as the role you're in. But I will say, having done this for a long time, I hear so much about the pipeline, and I understand that that's the slide, but I think we have to work backwards. How are we retaining the talent we have? Great if you need a pipeline, but if you get them and you can't keep them, what was the point, right? We need to think about, are we making environments that are psychologically safe? How are we breaking bias for all folks? I think women of color have it the worst in terms of, they've looked at that in terms of equal pay, in terms of representation in the executive and the C-suite. How do we make sure that women aren't getting stuck on the flypaper mid-career? And the same for other, areas of diversity. It's not just, one size fits all, but we see this happening in the stats. I was just promoted to CIO, super excited about that. But I will say, when I look around, there's not a lot of women doing what I do. And I see it and I notice it. So how do we make that environment where we don't have this she session we just went through, in this during the pandemic? How do we also make sure that we're making our environments, supportive of minorities, of parents, of people's full life? I mean, we're not just who we are when we come to work. So I think working backwards, that's really important. I think another thing that we need to think about as hiring managers, and one of the tips I tell to all of my managers is, I tell our recruiters, I will not look at any candidates until you give me a diverse pool. And I think that's really key, because not that you can't hire for diversity, you have to hire for talent. But if you don't have a diverse pool in the first place, you have no chance, right, of getting diversity in your environment. So by telling that to our recruiters as hiring managers, we are then forcing ourselves to make sure that we are putting that value front and center.